So the BBC is at it again, trying to push some narrative that is absolute and total crap, and this time it's about anime and manga as well. They're pushing the notion that anime and manga are somehow supposed to actually make people pedophiles. I really don't quite understand what exactly they're getting at here with this whole entire thing. It's really stupid, and the reporter is quite clearly biased. I mean, probably the most biased person you could have, believing that the British way is the absolute superior way of doing things compared to any other way in the world. Now, of course, I'm going to put this in a little bit of context. Yes, real pedophilia is absolutely terrible, and not a single person should ever engage in it. But anime and manga and doujin and pretty much anything like that is actually not hurting anybody, and is most likely reducing any kinds of actual assault happening to anybody anywhere, or happening to anybody in Japan, anyways. This is kind of the same kind of BS get from Anita Sarkeesian, from the Zoe Quinns, about games, and all these other just loony bins that started coming out of the woodworks since 2010. And honestly, as somebody who loves anime and loves games, all this stuff is such bullshit. It's complete and utter bullshit. And right now I'm going to be, of course, focusing on the anime and manga part, and I'm going to absolutely demolish this if I can. But, let's first talk about, does it actually promote sex with a minor? No, it never does. In fact, most sexual situations depicted in an anime, both are about the same, are typically the same age, same year, and it is literally just wish fulfillment for teens that are watching anime. It's not in any way supposed to be a thing that people are going out there and supposed to emulate. Never has been. And this is probably one of the biggest problems that a lot of these people keep pushing, is they think that everybody that watches this is going to go out and emulate it. But when, of course, you actually look at a lot of the data, since the rise of the internet, the rise of gaming, the ease of access to media, and by extension, porn, the rates of violence and sexual violence have gone down. And in Japan, they are some of the lowest anywhere. In fact, Japan has about 1/8 the actual sexual violence of England itself. And this ridiculous notion that somehow that English society is better because they ban certain sex acts in porn is absolute lunacy. In fact, what we're seeing is, they're trying to go so far as to actually say, no, we're gonna come into your bedrooms now, and we're going to say you can't perform certain sexual acts with your partner. All right, and this is that's just kind of the start of the lunacy that I've been hearing about in England. And sorry to anybody that's in England, but it is ridiculous. Anime and manga is set usually in, in high school a lot of times. This is a lot to do with marketing, who has the most disposable income at the time. And unlike here in the States or over in England, they don't, your best years are in high school. That's your last straw. That's when you're basically going to have all your fun before you knuckle down, start working, and, really going after a job, a career, and whatnot. And so, this is, of course, the time period when they're trying to appeal to these, appeal to people to actually watch their shows and spend their money on them. So, of course, yeah, you're going to have a bit of, a little bit of sexual fan service here and there with these, high schoolers. And it's, it's a high schooler with a high schooler. It's about the same age. It's not any kind of rape, number one. Is it, a bit ridiculous? Yeah, at times it is. But it's one of the things that just, is there because, as I said, it's wish fulfillment. That's all it's been, and it's all it's ever going to be. And to say it's all bad because of wish fulfillment for, a teenager, like let's say a 16-year-old that's in high school watching this stuff, it literally is just wish fulfillment for them. They see it and they're like, "Oh, hey, yay! I'm getting to see the stuff that I want, that I really wish I could see, but I can't." And usually this is enough to sate the desire. In fact, if we go a little bit further and we actually talk about pornography and whatnot, and with older people, again, so long as this is not actual child porn, and nobody's getting hurt by it, a lot of times it sates the desires and will actually make people who think that they are, who might have done it, who might have actually done it, will make them so they don't actually do it. I know, it's kind of weird that way, isn't it? It's kind of weird that somehow, some way, that seeing it, getting to actually see it, and see if it's something you like, can actually mean, I guess you realize you don't like it. And I think that this is something that's kind of been lost by many people that are these extreme progressives, and they don't really understand it. I'm really not in any way, shape, or form condoning any kind of, child porn or anything. No. Do I say, let artists draw whatever the hell they want to draw? Yes. Because, you know what? Nobody's getting harmed. And so long as nobody's getting harmed because of it, then it's just fine. This is, of course, freedom of expression. And honestly, BBC, get your act together with this shit. You really seem to be losing the point. And I just can't help but keep laughing here while walking around here recording this. Because this is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Because if this was true, I will tell you what. Japan would have the highest rape rates in the world, bar none, if what you say is true. But they actually have some of the lowest. If anything, the UK and the US have something to learn from Japan when it comes to sex. Oh, and Joey, Anime Man, if you decided to watch this again, if you decided to watch me again, you don't need to put a disclaimer in front of anything, especially if you're just talking about it. It's infantilizing, and it just is so silly. Anybody else, don't do it. I'm not going to do it unless there's graphic imagery. I mean, at which point, you should do it, because you are actually putting in graphic imagery. But otherwise, just don't do it. You'll be way better off. And well, I guess that's pretty much it. There isn't really anything more to say on this. So, talk to you guys some other time. Peace out.